Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. So this video has nothing to do with comics, and it's purely just me taking you through this nice Christmas story, Treasury. It has some artifacts in the back, like the Spider-Man book I showed you guys before. And I just want to show it off because I really enjoy this movie, and I just thought this would be a fun little holiday change of pace. So this book offers insight into the making of the film. There's excerpts from the movie. And these little sound buttons do work. They are direct audio rips from the movie. So, I don't want to get any sort of copyright strike or anything for using the sampled audio. But basically each chapter, what is written here, is associated with that button. So I mean, some of them go on for almost a full minute reciting what's written. So I was surprised that they went on for that long. And there's just, like I said, a lot of insight and storytelling behind the making of the movie. And I might read a little bit of it to you all, but I just want to show you the book first before anything else. And this was one of those things that I found at a local thrift store that we have here called Value Village. And I got it for $10. And I know that the movie was based upon two books, or one book, and then the other one was an offshoot from it. I'm trying to see if they have it here, but I can't recall. I think it's called In God We Trust and All Others Pay Cash, or something like that. But there's definitely people who both love and hate this movie. So if you're one of those that does not care for the movie, I'm sorry. But for those of you who love it, I'm sure that you're thrilled by this and hopefully going to seek this book out yourself and see there's some concept art there. And the first time I saw this movie, I was about maybe 7 or 8. Whenever it aired on TNT. And there were definitely things that I related to. You know, wanting a gift and just having the reassurance from your family that it was really just a Christmas wish and not something that would actually come true, you know. And then I associated with, you know, I made some bad choices as a kid, and I was one of those kids that would swear secretly without my parents knowing it. And so I related to Ralphie. How he let one slip and he got soap in his mouth. I had soap in my mouth when I was maybe about 5 or so. I'd overheard a curse word on a soap opera. And after that, I had never sworn in front of them. But I did swear in secret. And then eventually I stopped swearing when I was in like 10th grade. It just didn't appeal to me, and it's not something I do. And even when I'm upset, I'll just like make random noises and stuff. But it is relatable. We've all, you know, said a dirty word or two at some time and probably gotten soap or some sort of punishment. So, you know, I never wanted a BB gun, but there was was definitely my share of things. And one year I was surprised that my parents actually were able to find a bat cave for me. I was one of those kids that wanted a Buzz Lightyear when they came out. And they were all sold out. So my mom, they went to every store to try to find one. But we ended up with a giant squeezable Toy Story alien from the Pizza Planet that's head lit up and he talked. And he was definitely cool, but he wasn't Buzz, I didn't find one until much, much later, actually. And then one year I got a Captain America for Christmas. I think that was when I was 5. It was the first official superhero action figure I got. And that started me collecting and being interested in Captain America. Another Christmas, I remember we snuck into the closet where our parents kept our gifts. And we saw that that Nintendo 64 game GoldenEye was in there. And we were expecting it on Christmas morning. But it was one of those, and it was when the system was still fairly new. So we rented it from the video game rental place Blockbuster, at the time. And I played it with my mom, and she was very protective of us kids. So I knew that, so she wanted to play a round of GoldenEye with me. And I didn't even shoot her, but I, karate chopped her character to death. And you know how when you die in that game, you get that, your screen does that classic James Bond blood down the screen thing. I guess she thought that was too violent, so they secretly took it back. And they replaced that gift with Diddy Kong Racing, so we were expecting GoldenEye, and we never had it in our house when I was little. And yeah, so we got surprised with Diddy Kong Racing instead, so. But I've had a few nice Christmases, and I've had a few that, were a little lean, but they were fun nonetheless. So let's look at these little artifacts in the back here. So first we have the Secret Circle membership from the Little Orphan Annie. Mail away here. It says, be it known to all and sundry that Master Ralph Wesley Parker is hereby appointed a member of the Secret Circle and is entitled to all the honors and benefits accruing thereto. I wish it had something on the other side for the club too. But clubs are definitely more unique. You don't see them a lot anymore. When I was a kid, there were quite a few around, It says, from our home to yours. Merry Christmas from the Parkers. And there's the leg lamp there. And this one makes some nice cardboard noises. They call it a toothy cardboard. And then there's a nice fragile on there too. Next up we have a recipe from Mrs. Parker. Mother's cornbread and sausage stuffing. So, if you want to pause that screen and get a recipe, here it is. Next we have a recipe from Chop Suey Palace Company. And this is where they got their dinner at the end of the movie. And once again, here's a recipe. So if you want that, you can pause the screen. Chinese rice stuffing. It's probably really good, actually. I like Chinese food, so. Next we have the Midwestern Union Telegram. This is his major award. You have won a prize in our $50,000 Great Heroes from the World of Sports contest. It will arrive by special messenger delivered to your address. You are a winner. Congratulations on your major award. And I think he said this was a bowling prize that he got. So Great Heroes, World of Sports. It's fun they included bowling in that for Heroes of Sports. Granted, to be a pro at bowling is hard. Like, I'm not great at bowling at all. So I do know there is some skill required for sure. I really like this next one. This is the movie poster here. But Norman Rockwell. Look to it. A tribute to the original, traditional, 100% red-blooded, two-fisted, all-American Christmas. And I'll say this. If you guys haven't realized it, there is definitely less old-timey Christmas stuff going around. Like a lot of the songs you hear in this movie, you do not hear on the radio at Christmas time even anymore. They're really from, I don't know, maybe the 50s or thereabouts. Every now and then we get a couple Christmas classics, but like I guess their pop culture ones are not ones that we hear anymore. We hear more stuff from the 80s and onward, really. So here's Ralphie's essay, his theme. He wrote, "What I want for Christmas. What I want for Christmas is a Red Ryder BB gun with a compass and the stock and this thing which tells time." I love that it says this thing that tells time. You mean a clock? I think everybody should have a Red Ryder BB gun. They're very good for Christmas. I don't think that the football is a very good Christmas present. And then they added the teacher's corrections comments to it. And I can definitely relate. As a kid, we would always have little paragraphs we'd always have to write for school. So there'd always be these filler statements, They're very good for Christmas. We'd write things like, "I like babies. They are very good. Babies are good. Baby boys are very good little boys." It's just, things like that. So I used to have my journals I did when I was a kid, but that was part of my stuff that we lost after I moved. So, but there's definitely some things where certain words were misspelled and all those fun errors you make as a kid. So good excerpt for you guys. I'll go with the swearing chapter. It says, you might be surprised to learn that the original screenplay to A Christmas Story called for the old man to cuss more than 35 times. We owe much of the film's family appeal to Bruce Campbell, then executive vice president of the Higbee Company, who agreed to let producers film at the company's flagship store in Cleveland on one condition: they nix the off-color language. The objectionable language was just unbelievable, he told the Cleveland Plain Dealer in 2006. Not wanting Higbees to be associated with mild profanity, Campbell crossed out each offensive word in red pencil and sent the script back to the producers. Much to his amazement, they agreed to make the changes. Instead of actual curse words, the writer substituted a litany of indecipherable gibberish. Peter Billingsley remembers Gene Shepard scripting the words on the fly. There were a couple lines I still can't get out of my head. Crat and rat, stinking hop, poff and snogger. But what about the queen mother of dirty words? Turns out the original script for the infamous flat tire scene called for Ralphie to mouth the actual curse word just as the camera zooms past his mouth. In fact, Peter Billingsley still remembers Clark directing him to say the word a few takes. A loud passing truck was to have drowned out the sound so the offending word would not have been seen or heard, but it's interesting to note the famous "oh fudge" never appears in the original script. It was a last-minute addition while filming on location in Canada. Many people don't know that most of America's favorite Christmas film is largely produced in Canada. The production spent just 2 weeks filming in Cleveland. Did you know, for instance, that all the interior scenes of the Parker home were filmed in a Toronto soundstage and not inside the actual Cleveland house? Only the scenes shot inside the outside Higbees, as well as a few exterior shots of the now iconic home, were filmed in Cleveland. The remaining 7 weeks of principal photography took place north of the border. But despite the production's limited time in the city, production designer Reuben Freed knew just how crucial the Cleveland footage would be to establishing the proper feel to the film. We went through a phase where we wanted to shoot the entire film in Canada, said Freed, but we realized the department store in Ralphie's house had to be somewhere in the American Midwest. In fact, Freed visited 20 cities, including Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Montreal, and New York City, searching for the perfect period department store. Bob sent me to Chicago to look at Marshall Fields, and Gene insisted I go to Hammond, Indiana, to see his old neighborhood as inspiration for the department store. It was too rough to use by then, and we knew we'd have to recreate it somewhere else. Freed was charmed with Cleveland Higbee's store from the start. Built in the 1920s, it sported a huge illuminated sign on its roof, and many of its original fixtures inside, including brass doors with Art Deco designs, wood-trimmed display cases, a narrow wooden escalator, and rows of sparkling crystal chandeliers. When the production came knocking, Bruce Campbell knew good publicity when he saw it. He promised the store's full cooperation to offer jobs to hundreds of employees, to act as extras, construct scenery, hairstyle, provide security, and serve food. He also moved merchandise displays so Santa's mountain could be built on the main floor, towering 35 feet high and nearly touching matching the ceiling. It took 12 men 3 weeks to construct. In fact, the very first shot filmed during production was the memorable close-up of Ralphie on the slide looking up at Santa, pleading for a Red Ryder BB gun. Bob wanted to get Peter into the thick of it right away, said Ken Goth, the film's first assistant director. He was very strategic about what he shot and how it affected his actors. Alright, with that I'm going to call